America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, Monday, everybody. Hope you are doing well. Hope you all had a good weekend. I'm under the weather. So all of my MAGA friends, if you're tuning in today, if you're doing what we used to call in the radio business, you're hate listening to Joe Walsh, all my MAGA brothers and sisters, and you tune into me because you want to see Joe Walsh get all worked up and wound up. Not going to happen today because I've got to keep it down because I really don't feel very well. Let's start this Monday, everybody. And I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. MAGA, not MAGA, Republican, Democrat, Independent, all of you, politics aside. I hope you rest. I hope you relaxed. I hope you enjoyed yourselves this weekend. We begin this Monday with a reminder. A reminder. Our founders rebelled against a king. This country began because of fear of a king. Fear of a dictator, fear of a tyrant, fear of living under the thumb of a king. We rebelled against a king. And a reminder, when we gained our independence, many of our founders did not even want to create the office of the presidency. You go back into your American history, we didn't start with the Constitution. We started with the Articles of Confederation. There was no great desire because of our founders' correct fear of, loathing of a king. Many of our founders didn't even want there to be a president of these United States. Our founders, many of our founders, didn't even want this office. Feared having the office of the presidency. Why? Because their fear that this office, the presidency, this position might one day become a dictatorship. That president might turn into a king one day. That fear among our founders was there. And even the second time around, when we improved upon the Articles of Confederation and gave the world our United States Constitution, even in that founding document, the presidency, man, again, it wasn't given a lot of power purposely because our founders feared a king. More than anything, our founders feared tyranny. When you look at that Constitution, Article 1, you look at that Constitution, man, the place to be, the branch of government where our founders believed the power should reside is in the legislative branch, in Congress, the people's house. That's what the federal government was all about. That's where the business of the federal government was all supposed to take place, in Congress. Man, for many of our founders, the presidency was the president was just a figurehead. Because our founders rightly feared a king. 249 years later, we are exactly where our founders feared we might get. 249 years later, we have a king in the White House. The presidency, for now, has been turned into a dictatorship. It's everything our founding fathers feared. It grew over time. The power of the presidency, the imperial presidency, Republican and Democrat presidents over the years have increased their authority, increased their power, in many ways because, and I say this as a former congressman, Congress has abdicated their authority, their power. That's part of it. But the people, the American people, have naturally over time gravitated toward a more powerful leader. And now we have the utter worst iteration of that. We elected someone who's a king. We elected someone who's a dictator. We elected someone who believes he's above the law. I was on TV last night and I said what I've said before, but I said right there, I forget the question I was asked, but I said, hey, this is a constitutional crisis. We are right now, February 3rd, 2025, America, we are living in a constitutional crisis. And a lot of people are saying that. What does it mean? What does it mean when I say we're living in a constitutional crisis? Sounds really scary, sounds really serious. Well, start there. Start there. We've got someone in the White House who is doing what he told us he would do. He told us he would be a dictator. He told us he would be an authoritarian, and he's doing it right before our eyes every single day, usurping his power, exceeding his power and authority, utterly ignoring the Constitution, ignoring the rule of law. The ingredients for a constitutional crisis, there's ingredient number one, a president who feels utterly unrestrained, unchecked, untouchable. And we talked about this last week, TikTok. We talked about this. In many ways, you can't blame Trump because he's never been held accountable for anything he's done, for anything he said. He's a dumb man. Donald Trump is a dumb man, but even a dumb man is going to realize after 8, 9, 10 years, man, if I can say damn near anything, if I can say anything and do anything and nobody is going to hold me to account, I'm going to keep doing it. And he is. He ran for president of the United States telling voters he was going to be a dictator. And we elected him. And he's doing it. The past, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't even remember how long it's been since he was sworn in. Every single day, Donald Trump commits 50, 100, 150, 200 unlawful, corrupt, dictates, executive orders, proclamations, you name it, all that he does not have the authority to do. That's ingredient one in a constitutional crisis. We have a presidency unrestrained. We have a dictator in the White House. And look, I will always talk to my MAGA brothers and sisters because I come from MAGA world. I voted for Trump in 2016, but the vast majority of them deep down, they got no fucking problem with this. I've engaged with and spoken with and listened to enough MAGA Americans to know that they are damn comfortable with. In fact, most of them want there to be a king in the White House. They will tell me that every day. By the way, that's ingredient number two in a constitutional crisis. We've got a king in the White House. We've got a populace that doesn't give a damn. And gut check, America, we need to think about that. Half of America doesn't give a damn. Half of America is perfectly fine having a strong man in the White House. Yeah, wrap your arms around that. Yeah, reflect upon that. But that's a fact. That's ingredient number two in a constitutional crisis. Half of this country, more than half of the people who voted in November voted for an authoritarian. Ingredient number three in a constitutional crisis: a Congress that has absolutely abdicated its duty completely. Again, reminder, newsflash, MAGA, study up, go back, read our founding documents, read about the founding of this country. Our founders put all of the power, damn near all of the power, in the legislative branch, the people's house. It's why everything spelled out in Article 1 of the Constitution is about the legislative branch, Congress. Congress is there to check the president, to restrain the president, to provide oversight on the presidency, to investigate the president, to investigate, to hold in check the executive branch. That's the legislative branch's job. And right now, we don't have that at all. Republicans run Congress, the House and the Senate, and Republicans have made clear they will not be a check on anything Trump does. These Republicans in the House, these Republicans in the Senate, every day they wake up and they lay down in front of Trump. They prostrate themselves in front of Trump and they say, "Dear leader, oh majesty, oh king, do whatever the fuck you want." This, by the way, is the biggest and most dangerous ingredient in our constitutional crisis. A Congress that's no longer doing its job, a Congress that's looking the other way, a Congress, Republican and Democrat, shouldn't be partisan, that has abandoned the whole notion of separation of powers. I know you're all smart enough. I know you at least know that, right? At one time, we all learned civics, right? Separation of powers, checks and balances, right? Gone. Congress has said no more. They will give the presidency they'll give Trump unrestrained power. They will not check on his power. They will not provide any balance to his power. The legislative branch, the people's house, I would argue the most important branch in the federal government, because it has become an authoritarian embracing cult. It's not doing its job. And it is not at all putting any check on the presidency. And we've seen that in vivid color these first couple of weeks of Trump's presidency. Trump can do anything. Trump can do everything. Trump can pass executive orders that are against the law. Trump can bring in Elon Musk to do whatever Elon Musk wants to do. Trump can try to shut down congressionally appropriated federal agencies. Trump can do anything because Trump knows Congress will not stop him, will not look at him, will not investigate him, will not put any check at all on him. I want to say this, and I apologize if I'm being naive. That should bother anybody, no matter anybody's politics, right? That should bother anybody. I mean, it should be a problem enough that we have a tyrant in the White House. We shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but it happened. But now the tyrant's in the White House. and the legislative branch has laid down and is looking the other way, I don't care who you are politically, that should really bother you. And then the final ingredient in this current constitutional crisis that America finds itself in is, so we've got a dictator in the White House. We've got a Congress that is bowing down to him, that worships him. And then we have this unique X factor. We have a private citizen who's the wealthiest guy on the planet, who nobody elected, who has deep ties to the Chinese government, who is currently was being investigated by various government agencies. This private citizen, this wealthiest guy on the planet, who also happens to be the tyrant's biggest benefactor, he and his cronies have seized control of the federal government and are setting out to cancel congressionally appropriated spending for his own agenda. Ding, 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 red flags. No, no, MAGA, no. Somebody who's utterly unelected, wealthiest guy on the planet, he's right now in there hour after hour, day after day, trying to remake the federal government. He's firing people. He's shutting people out, civil servants, out of networking systems. He's halting government business. He's shutting down their social media. He's firing people. He's telling people to stay home. He's taking down signs of various agencies. He's closing offices. And did I tell you he's unelected? Nobody elected him. There you have it. For the first time in American history, a tyrant in the White House. For the first time in American history, a Congress that is refusing to do its job. And for the first time in American history, an unelected oligarch running the country. Now, again, I don't know where you come from, don't know who you are, glad you're listening, don't know what your politics is, but this isn't good. This isn't a good thing. And I know deep down, everybody agrees with me that it's not a good thing. Like I know deep down that, Barack Obama, if when Barack Obama was first elected in 2008 and George Soros, his biggest benefactor, Obama brought in and told George Soros, do whatever you want in the federal government. Here, I'll give you the keys. George Soros, I'll give you the keys to the federal government. And Barack Obama had a Democratic Congress that just let him do whatever he wanted to do. And again, Obama turned it over to George Soros so George Soros could go in and remake the United States government however he wanted to remake it. I want to believe that Republicans and MAGA and Trump supporters and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Rush Limbaugh when he was alive back then, they'd all be screaming and hollering. I want to believe that. If it were Obama and George Soros, unchecked, unrestrained, above the law, dictating, trying to dictate what our federal government looks like. This specific example in front of us, the USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, one government agency that Elon Musk doesn't like, I want to say Trump doesn't like it, but Trump doesn't know what they do. I always got to be careful when I say Trump doesn't like this agency or that agency. Donald Trump doesn't know what any of these agencies do, but the USAID is an agency that the right has been after for a while because I think they believe like the USAID is out there doing Marxist stuff every day around the world. But just take a look at this one agency, and this is what the tyrant in the White House is allowing his oligarch, Elon Musk, to do. So the USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, Elon Musk has declared war on this agency. And so he's fired and furloughed hundreds of employees. He's threatened to fire and furlough thousands more. He's locked all the employees in DC out of their networking systems. He's halted all of our foreign missions. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what the USAID does, formed in 1961 by JFK, I think they had a budget last year of about $40 billion. They are the world's preeminent organization providing humanitarian relief, preventing famine, combating poverty, supporting global health, and a bunch of other stuff around the world. Musk and Trump have declared war on this agency. They're trying to shut it down. They're doing everything they can do but shut it down. They've literally locked the doors of the DC office. They've taken down the signs. They've taken down USAID's, all their social media accounts. They stormed the USAID office last week. Elon Musk's 19 to 25-year-old henchmen did, almost all of whom didn't have security clearance, and demanded access to the agency's most classified information. And Elon Musk came out over the weekend and called the USAID a criminal organization. I'm just talking about one federal agency, a criminal organization. Now, just for a moment, think about that. An organization that for 60 years has been trying to prevent famine around the world. Maybe you can quibble with some of the things they've done. Maybe you can quibble with how they're spending some of their money. But an agency for 60 years trying to prevent famine around the world, and you're going to call that organization, that American organization, a criminal organization. But here's the thing, and this isn't the only federal agency that this unelected wealthiest person on the planet has declared war on. Just the USAID, by statute, and everybody who doesn't understand me, that means by law, the USAID is an independent agency. By law, this agency is an independent agency outside of the State Department. And by the way, Trump or Elon Musk said, I think this morning or last night, that he talked to Trump, and Trump wants to shut it down, shut down the USAID, shut the whole organization down. They're on their way to trying to do that. They're basically firing everybody and locking everybody out of their work and their computer systems and their offices in this agency. But again, constitutional crisis. MAGA, listen to me. By law, Donald Trump cannot shut USAID down. By law, a president cannot shut down a congressionally appropriated federal agency by executive power, by an executive order. Trump does not have the authority. Certainly Elon Musk doesn't have the authority. By the way, Elon Musk doesn't have the formal authority to do anything. He hadn't been appointed, hadn't been approved, hadn't been elected to anything. But the president of the United States does not have the authority to shut down USAID. Again, Trump doesn't know that because Trump's an idiot. But people around Trump know that, which is why what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing right now to USAID will be taken to court. And by the way, again, a constitutional crisis, a fucking dictator in the White House, a Congress that's no longer doing its job, an unelected wealthy dude running the federal government. There are really only two ways to stop it, to stop this constitutional crisis. One is the American people taking to the streets. Two is the courts. Remember that third branch of government, the judicial branch. Now, I'll bet you, MAGA, Trump has laid down over 1,000 executive orders in 2 weeks. And by the way, MAGA, do you remember how quaint this is? Remember, MAGA? Remember how angry we all got when Barack Obama issued an executive order here or there, his pen and his phone? Do you remember all that? Man, that was so long ago. Those were the good times. Well over 1,000 executive orders in 2 weeks from Trump, the vast majority of which are unlawful, the vast majority of which are being taken to court, have been taken to court. Constitutional crisis. If the courts fall, if the judicial branch abandons its duty to follow the law and follow the Constitution, well, then fuck it. We've got a king. We've got a dictator. The other branch of government has said, Congress has said, thank you, sir, give me another. Thank you, sir, may I have another? Oh, Donald Trump, oh, you Lord of Most High, you can do whatever you want. We won't do anything. We will bow to you. We will worship you. That's Congress. Elon Musk doing his unaccountable bullshit. The last stance is the courts and us, the American people, taking to the streets. I know people around Trump know that about like birthright citizenship, a number of the things he's done. This one, I want to shut down USAID. He can't. He doesn't have the constitutional or the legal authority to do so. So what's he doing? He and Musk are purposely destroying this agency, hollowing it out, taking down all its social media, firing people, furloughing people, telling them to stay home, going into their classified computer systems and digging up dirt on everybody. They're doing everything they can to destroy this one government agency that spends $40 billion a year, the preeminent worldwide agency that's done more to provide humanitarian assistance, combat poverty, and prevent famine around the world than any other organization on the planet. And this is Trump's and this is Musk's strategy. If we can't shut these agencies down, we're going to destroy them. And by the way, MAGA, Russia is laughing right now and China's smiling. Russia's laughing. Did you see Medved, the Russia's prime minister came out and actually put out a tweet this morning and said, way to go, Elon, way to go, Trump, shut down USAID. Doesn't that tell you something? Russia applauding America shutting down the world's preeminent humanitarian assistance organization. Why would Russia cheer that? Because that lessens America's influence around the world. That's what Russia wants. Why is China smiling? Because this will weaken America's influence around the world. Period. Welcome, China. Hello, China. These other countries, these other organizations around the world will turn to China for help. I mean, in many ways, you got to decide whose side you're on. Are you on the side of Russia, China, Musk, and Trump, or are you on the side of America? This is what our founders feared, and it's here. An utterly unrestrained president. Our founders came this close to not even having a president, to not even having this office, because our founders lived under, suffered under, died under a king. And 249 years later, we have the very thing our founders risked and gave up everything to oppose. Final thought on this. The most disappointing aspect of what's going on right now, and I say this as a former congressman, it is Congress abdicating their duty to be the check, to be the restraint, to keep that office. Adhering to the few powers it has. That's Congress's job. Congress didn't do its job and is not doing its job. So now it's up to the courts, and now it's up to us. What can you do? What can I do? What can we do? Again, first off, don't quit. Man, I was feeling really helpless and hopeless yesterday. Don't know about you. I was going through one of those days where I felt helpless and hopeless with what's going on. And if you pay attention every day, like I do and like you all do, if you pay attention to this shit every single day, what's been going on the last few weeks, it's hard not to feel helpless and not to feel hopeless. But always remember this: helplessness and hopelessness, that feeds the authoritarian. The authoritarian, the dictator, thrives on the people feeling helpless and feeling hopeless. When we feel helpless and we feel hopeless, like we can't do anything, that's when a king eats, and that's when a king expands his power over us. Trump wants you and I to feel hopeless and helpless. Elon Musk wants you and I to feel hopeless and helpless. They feed off of this. So let's not give it to them. Don't quit. Going to be a long, long fight to defeat him. We've got to defeat Musk. We have to defeat Trump. I've made clear in the last 20 some minutes, Donald Trump is un-American. I mean, a dictator in the White House, that's an un-American thing. It's going to take some doing to stop him and defeat him. The courts have got to be the bulwark. The courts have got to be the last stand. But you and I can still do something. Every single day, you and I can do something. Every single day, you and I can spread truth. Just spread a little bit of truth to people we know about all of the bullshit and all of the distractions that are going on right now. All of the lies that Trump tells, all of the lies that Elon Musk tells. gather a group of people that you know, friends, family, community members, and just give them some truth once a day, once every 2 days. Don't quit. Continue to contact your member of Congress. Continue daily to contact your House member and your United States Senator and tell them we don't have kings in America. Damn it, Senator. Damn it, Congressman. We don't have kings in America. Do something. Put a check on him. Investigate what he did today, what he did 2 days ago. Again, I say this as former congressman, bombard your members of Congress with demands. Don't give up on that. Send them an email. We do not have kings in America. Send them that email. Demand that they do their job and provide oversight to the executive branch. Demand that they do their job. Be on record. You can do that. I can do that every single day. And finally, there's strength in numbers. We're all out here. Forget about MAGA, because MAGA is comfortable with the king. And by the way, that's a long-term problem that we got to address, America. There's a reason why, and Democrats suck at this, because Democrats don't know how to talk to people. Democrats don't know how to talk to regular fucking people. There's a problem, though. Almost half the country is embracing a king. It's a problem that we've got a king in the White House. The bigger problem is that half of the country is embracing a king. And man, that's going to take some work to figure out how that got to be, why that got to be, and how and why we can work with our fellow Americans in MAGA world and help convince them that this is not the way America should be. But that's a long-term project. Short-term, join me. I know I'm a broken record. You see it right there. You see it right there. Right there. Right there. No kings. No kings. I changed all of my profile pictures. I talk about no kings every single day. I go to my bed saying no kings. Every time I'm on TV, somehow I slip in no kings. We don't have kings in America. Join me. Rally around this most simple American truth. No kings in America. Change your profile pic. Let's build a community of Americans who just start there, who just proudly say no kings. Go to oneflaginitiative.org. That's the website. oneflaginitiative.org. It's all one word. Again, oneflaginitiative.org. Go there. It'll tell you what this no kings thing is all about, and it'll give you real simple instructions. You can grab the no kings graphic, the no kings meme. That a babe lab rat. Grab the no kings graphic, grab the no kings meme. We got a bunch of different versions of them. Put up whatever version you want as your profile pic on all of your social media. Let's just start and build and grow a community of people who, if we have to take to the streets in another month or 2 or 3 to defend this experiment in democracy, we will. oneflaginitiative.org. One word, oneflaginitiative.org. Go there. Change your profile pic. Become part of this No Kings movement. Do not quit. We're living in a constitutional crisis. Not going to lie to you. Not going to blow smoke up your ass. We got a fucking tyrant in the White House. We have a Congress that bows down to that tyrant in the White House every single day. We have the wealthiest guy on the planet, elected by nobody, who's trying to remake the federal government as we speak. And we have an American populace that is cheering this un-American shit on. We are living in a constitutional crisis. Wake the fuck up. No kings in America. Start there. Thanks, everybody. Make it a good week. Be brave. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with